Hello, everybody. Sorry, my microphone was off. Good evening. Welcome to the self-checkout show. I missed the countdown. Didn't realize that we were live. I was sitting here just, waiting it out. But hello. We are live and excited to be back on tonight, filling in for Pastor Willie Taylor. Listen, do me a favor. As we do week after week, do me a favor and share the live. Invite someone to come on and be a part of the discussion, be a part and to join in and comment. We're looking for what you have to say, what you have to share with us. Let me switch my screen over. There we go. So that hopefully I can see the comments. I'm excited to be back. We're continuing on in our series on friends. Good friends, bad friends, good relationships, bad relationships. Last week, the best friends were on here, Lachelle and Jonetta, and they were talking about, Jeanette, they were talking about covering your friends. Can you cover me when I need to be covered? Or will you expose me? And tonight we're sharing and we're continuing on in the series with influences. Your friends, your circle, your connections. What type of influences do they bring? What type of effect do they have on the relationship? But not only the relationship, on you. We're going to take a deeper look into that. We're going to dig into that a bit more. So guess what? You're going to want to be a part. You're going to want to tag your friends in. You're going to want to tag your connections in. And you're going to want to do some self-evaluation or some relationship evaluations to find out exactly where you stand. We've laughed and we've talked time and time again, and we've seen each other do it time and time again at the beginning of the year, or at the end of the year, right? Where everyone goes through their Facebook pages or their Instagram, their Twitter, any social media, and they decide who they're going to keep and who they're going to cut. But how do you know who to keep and who to cut? What's differentiating that for you? So we're going to take a deeper look tonight into bad influences. I'm excited again to be here. And as I'm talking, I'm actually giving you time to share the live. I'm giving you time to hit the heart button. I'm giving you time to hit the like button. And I'm giving you time to tag your friends into the conversation. That's right. I'm saying pull them right on in to the conversation so that they'll have something to say. And you will too. I'm excited to be back tonight. I'm here again with my best friend. You all have seen her several times with me. If you know me in person, you've seen her with me. But if you've seen us on Facebook or you've seen us on Instagram, we're always tagging each other or talking. Crystal, my best friend, is back with me on tonight. So I'm super to have her sharing again with me tonight. Hello.
Good evening.
We're back together again.
Absolutely.
What has it been? 2 weeks?
Well, 2 weeks, for them.
Right.
We stay together. But yeah, it's been about 2 weeks.
2 weeks for them since we've been live, and we're back again tonight, taking over the show. Hello, Shirley. Hello. Crystal, did you catch me not realizing I was live?
I did. But it's okay. It was only like 30 seconds, 25 seconds.
Oh, okay. Good. All right, good. Okay. So good. We're back. Shirley, we're glad to have you with us. Go ahead and share the live. Take this chance to pull someone else in with you. Again, I'm here with my best friend, Crystal. I'm super excited to have her back on with us again tonight. And not only Crystal, but we're pulling in another friend of mine. Not only a friend of mine or a friend of my best friends, but she is actually our soror.
Hey,
the one and only Shaniqua Karanja.
Hey, Hi, guys. How are y'all?
Good.
This is so funny. I just was thinking about that as I was introducing that we're not all just friends, but we're sorors too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're sisters in Christ, sisters for life.
That's right.
How awesome. Hello, Tabitha. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, again, before we jump on into the conversation, go ahead and take this opportunity to please share the live. This conversation won't work if you all aren't talking with us, if you all aren't sharing, and if you all aren't inviting others to be a part of the conversation. We're continuing on in the conversation on friends.
Yes.
Friends.
How many of us have them?
Oh, that's a good one. Houdini sang that, right?
Houdini.
Ones we can't depend on.
Yes.
Go ahead, Shaniqua, your turn.
Look. I was like, don't you get us started.
Your turn, Shaniqua. Go ahead. We already started. Go ahead. You like, nope,
No. I'm going to be good for now.
Okay.
What other friend songs out there? What other friend songs?
The first one that came to my mind probably wouldn't have been the best one. Friend songs.
What other friend songs?
I don't know. Friends.
I thought about
what's that song with Gladys
you guys remember
Knight?
Punky Brewster song?
They say you just a friend.
Song.
Oh, I thought you were talking about say you just a friend. I thought you were talking about that
Punky
one.
Brewster. You guys remember when Punky Brewster was on? I'm not that old.
Yes, I remember Punky Brewster.
And then so wasn't her song "We're Friends Forever"? And when the rest are gone, it's you that remember me, my friend. Remember her and the old guy?
The guy that she stayed with, right? What was that? Her grandfather? Her uncle?
Yeah, I think. Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of hanging on that one.
That's what friends are for.
That's what friends are for.
And then there's the theme song to Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah.
Travel down the road and back again.
Yes.
Your heart is blue. You're a pal and a confidant.
I love that one's one of my favorites.
That's a good song. That's a good song.
Yeah, it is.
Any other friend songs? What other friend songs? Are there any more?
They got Mariah Carey, Anytime You Need a Friend.
I don't know if I know that song.
I think it's old. I don't think it. Well, I can't say that it didn't make the charts because most of her songs did. But let's see.
Any other friend songs you guys can think about?
Like, does the song have to have friends in it, or can it be about friends?
It could be about friends.
Okay. The Destiny Child song, "Girls," I think is what it's called.
Girls.
Yeah.
I like
that's a friend song.
Girlie has a good one. You Are My Friend, Patti LaBelle.
Yes.
Martise said a good one. Martise said "My Girlfriend," like the show Girlfriends.
Oh yes.
The theme song. Yeah.
The theme song, My Girlfriend.
At least that's the one I'm thinking he's talking about. That's a good one too.
That's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
There Through Thick and Thin. Y'all don't want me to sing.
Okay.
Or maybe y'all do.
No.
Just a me.
Right.
It's baby voice.
Get it ready.
Well, that's awesome. You know what? It's so nice that people write about friendships, about relationships, and that we're able to sing about them and actually attach some of those songs to some of our relationships. But even in that, I think that's even a good segue, right? For influences.
Yeah.
A good segue for influences. And listen, for those of you all that don't know, I honestly don't remember. I meant to go back and look, and maybe Shaniqua, you can remind us. What do you remember what your last comment was on our previous live where you've gotten us here where we are tonight?
It was specifically about bad influences in our Christian friendship circles, but it connects either way, whether it's a Christian circle or not. But just the fact that it happens and it seems to go untalked about, it's not talked about, but it exists. It happens.
That's true.
So I just said, hey, we should be talking about that. And so here we are.
So I think that even in you bringing that up and in the article that we read, here's how they kick it off.
Okay.
It says, you already know that birds of the same feather fly together. How about that? We've all heard that birds of a feather flock together, right? Friendship is fundamental if you want to live a more fulfilling life. Do we agree?
We agree.
Absolutely.
Okay. But what should you do if your closest pals keep on getting you into trouble? This is what we are calling bad influences. What do you do when your closest pals continuously get you into trouble?
But are they
Do we
your
even pay attention to
closest?
that?
Probably not. I think that a lot of times we, again, put friends in the wrong category, calling them our closest friends when their thought process is not the same as ours.
That's good.
Theirs is beneficial and ours
Yeah.
is a longing. So it's a little bit different.
I think our close friends can at times get us into trouble even though they're close to us. And the reason why I say that is because if it's a bad moment for them, it's a bad moment for me. Bad advice, they can get us into trouble. It doesn't have to be that they're distant or that they, even mean to, but it can happen that people who are close to you can still get you into a little bit of trouble from time to time.
And so how do we navigate that? What do you all think? How do we navigate that? How do we go through that? How do we identify what you're saying is bad advice? Or when they give us, the wrong information or kind of influence, if you will, even our decisions. Well, girl, if it were me, I would. And sometimes we run off and listen to the girl, if it were me, I would. Or man, Joe,
Yeah.
Man, Joe.
Yeah.
So how do we figure that out?
I think that we have to kind of know from where they're coming from. So let's just say I'm talking about a marriage issue and I'm talking to my closest girlfriend, but she's in a really hard space with her marriage right now. Yeah. Just because she's in a hard space doesn't mean she's not my closest friend, but she's in a hard space. So if I go and say something, her response could come from her own emotions.
Yes.
And it could be she's trying to give me feedback and advice to help me, but her advice is skewed because of her own experience. So it's important to kind of know where your friends are, what's going on with them. If you know they're having a marriage issue, don't go talk to them about marriage right now, because it may not be the best time for you to try to get their advice or their influence, if you will.
Yeah, I like that. What do you think, Crystal?
I think you have to sift through what they're telling you. You can't take it at face value. Sometimes you have to kind of pull out the things that you need. If I'm married, like she said, we're in a bad relationship or a bad space, they're in a bad space. There may be things that you can use, but there may also be some things that you need to discard. And that's up to us to be able to decipher between the two.
Yeah, I think that's good.
That's fair too.
Good. The article says a good friend should bring the best in you and support you during hardships because they are like your family. You must be very objective when figuring out if your friends are helping you to. I love that word. That's
objective.
Objective. Yeah, you picked up on that. I love that. It says you must be very objective when figuring out if your friends are helping you to build. We talked about this. If they're helping you to build a great future, or they simply are bad influences. And I think sometimes I don't think we really want to come to terms with it ourselves. So it lists for us different ways or different types of signs that our friends are bad influences. Number one, your friend tells you to lie to your partner, parents, or other friends. Now let's talk about the lying friend that wants you to laugh at them too. What do we think about that?
Well, let's talk about the space.
Okay, let's talk about the space.
So when we were in high school, it was a little bit different.
That wasn't that long ago.
Hey, I'm with you. If my mama called, I'm with you.
That's true.
You understand? But that was like a window of immaturity on our part. We're just scared. I don't want my mama to know, but I still want to do what I want to do. But once we become adults and we've now matured into an adult relationship, we
That's
should
good.
be able to have truth with each other
Yeah.
and anybody
Yeah.
around us. And that should
Yeah.
be what we're encouraging.
I
But
like
Right.
how you make that differentiation. I like that because it's important, even if there's some young people watching, that they understand that there is a difference. And you're right. What we did then is definitely not what we should be doing now. Shaniqua, let's talk about even as it relates to our marriages and
Mm-hmm.
lying to our spouses.
mm.
Thoughts there?
So yes, first, and people watching might completely judge me, and I'm okay with that. But I will lie for nobody. Period. Okay. And I actually wouldn't appreciate someone putting me in a position to have to lie for them either, because that tells me that you quit. That I need to now look at you in a way of you're not respecting me because you know that that's a hard line for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if my friend knows me, they would know already. Shanique was not the one that I'm gonna go and say, "Hey, I was with her." Like, don't do that. There might be other friends that will, but I'm not that friend. So um, that's a hard line. That's a no for me.
And I think too it's because of the sanctity of marriage. We respect the sanctity of marriages,
Mm-hmm.
so we understand that there are boundaries. So no, I'm not going to lie to
Mm-hmm.
your husband for you, and
Mm-mm.
no, I'm not going to lie to your wife for you.
No.
It is what it is. So I agree
Now
with
I'm
you.
not gonna go. I will say this: I'm not gonna go telling
I'm
what
not
you
going to
just told
volunteer
me
the
either.
information. Right, right,
No,
right, right,
that's on you. That's for you to
right,
talk to your spouse about. But I'm just not going to be a part of
right.
it.
I also
Mm-hmm.
want to interject. If
Yeah.
in the event one of your husbands is surprising you, I am not telling you.
No, that's different.
I will
I
withhold
get
the
what.
information. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I just
Yes.
want to be clear. Now, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
lying
yeah.
Yes.
I
now.
just want to be
I'm not
clear. I,
putting you in
I
a
just want to make sure we
situation.
all understand. We're all on the same page.
Look,
Yes.
and if it starts to go a little left, I'm telling, sir.
Yeah. You'd be like, hey, this is too much.
I'm telling.
I'm
Yeah,
out.
and I think that that's big. I think that we've made, again, we've made some indicators here. Number one, that with when we were younger, when we
Mhm.
did that, like tell your mom, I'm with you, I'm not with you. We didn't tell our moms, our dads,
Yeah.
because we didn't want to get in trouble, and we
Yeah.
knew already what we were. We knew already then what we were doing was wrong. Period. So we were just trying to stay out of trouble, right? And now that we're adults, you're right. It's important that we're mindful of what we're saying. Hello, John. It's important that we're mindful of our
Yeah.
relationships and how our relationships, again, we want to make sure that we're not fostering bad habits. I don't want you having
Right.
me to lie to my spouse. I don't want to lie to my friend. I want to be able to tell the truth. So I think that it's good that Crystal talked about the space and
Yeah.
understanding that, because that's really, really important.
Yeah.
And the thing too is like, let's just say a person does lie. When it all blows up, because we all know eventually it will. All right.
Yeah.
Will this person's spouse, so even if they work it out, all right,
Yeah.
the spouse
So
may
true.
not be cool with me anymore. They might be like, well, I don't trust
So true.
Shaniqua. They've
That's so true.
forgiven their
That's the
wife,
thing.
but I don't
And
trust
they're going
her.
on. Yep.
And so now you're on the outs because you thought you were helping your friend. No,
Yeah.
no, no.
So true.
Yeah.
Number two, the company. I like this one. The company is all about partying.
Ooh.
That just says big and flash irresponsibility. Just
We all think.
irresponsibility.
Yeah.
No priorities.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No maturity. Like,
And it
I
might
can't do
be
that.
different stages of life. Like if you are, like, for example, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I've got all
Yeah.
these responsibilities, right? But let's just say this friend doesn't have the same responsibilities
Yeah.
and you want to go have as much fun as you want to. Great. But it may not mesh as it relates to what they want to do versus what I'm walking through in my life right now. But if that person's always like, let's go do this, let's go do that, and they can't respect the fact that I have priorities and responsibilities, that's a bad influence for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Even when, let's say, you have kids and I don't,
Yeah.
or you have responsibilities and I don't, we've got to be able to even differentiate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
I can't party and I've got a responsibility here. So I've got to be able, you can't be like, oh, well, just come on and do this, or just, don't worry about your husband, come on and do this, or don't worry about your parents, just come on and do this. Because again, that's a bad influence.
Yeah,
with
you
no
Look,
respect and no regard.
but
you
you
gonna
have to
think
set
this?
those boundaries.
Yeah,
As the person who has the responsibility, who has the friends, I can hang out with you. However, I might have to do brunch instead of a night party. I
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
might have to
yeah,
go to church with you as opposed to going to this day party and staying for 12 hours. I might
yeah.
not be able to travel everywhere, but I could do a weekend trip.
Right.
Those you have to take into consideration those type of things when you have somebody that's the opposite of you. It's not that you can't be friends.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to be friends in a specific way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
I
had a
like.
person stop being friends with me before because every time we would go to like dinner, at the end of dinner, I would order something to take back for Ben.
Mm-hmm.
She did not like that. And I'm like, I just didn't get it. But
Well,
she felt like
was she married?
she wasn't married.
Okay,
That's what
so
it
maybe
was.
she
She
couldn't
felt
understand
like
the
the
dynamics.
thought process was, this is our time. Why are you even thinking about Ben? But I'm like, we had our time. Dinner is concluding.
Right. Now
I'm
we're
gonna take
leaving. I'm
something.
going home. Right.
It became a sore spot.
That was a
I
bit much.
wasn't having it.
That was a bit much.
And eventually it fizzled. The friend
Wow.
we stopped going and doing things, and then eventually we just stopped kind of like talking in general. But I mean,
Wow.
she made a huge deal of it. She's like, every time we go out, you always have to order something for him. I was like,
Charlotte
That's not
said she was
bothering you.
jealous.
she probably was jealous.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And not your friend. And that's how you, that's
Mm-mm.
definitely how you want to, that goes back to
Mhm.
categories again. And that
Mhm.
goes back to
Mhm.
bad influences.
And
Yep.
sometimes you don't know until you know. Like
Until you're
people,
in it.
because
Yep.
people are good actors. Like people can really, you can think that you have a good friend until something happens and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna come back right there because I like that, but I want to also acknowledge Charlotte's previous comment where she said that's kind of the same thing when you give advice. Everyone won't accept it, and
Right.
they may not trust you anymore, and that's so true.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Everybody won't, and that's so true. And they won't always accept it, and they won't trust you, which is another reason why we have to be slow to speak.
Mm-hmm.
That's
In
right.
fact,
Just to listen.
and just from even the counseling seat right now, and Shaniqua, I'm sure that you'll vouch. I don't like to counsel one-sided conversations either, or one-sided,
Nope.
because it's just not fair.
It's
I
not.
I like to get the facts of both
Both.
because now you're gonna take back and be like, well, she said or they said, and then
They're
now
quick to do that. And
it's a
now
whole
they're mad at Dr. Nancy because you didn't even get all of it.
You didn't
You
get it
know?
all. And I'm
Yep.
counseling a one-sided situation.
Yep.
Again, that's when you've got to understand the difference of influence, because now I've got influence over the relationship,
Yep.
and
Mhm.
it should not be one-sided influence.
Yep.
Nope.
Even while you were talking, Shaniqua, I said I wanted to come back to this because you were talking about I forgot what
She
you
got
said.
upset because I would order food at the end of the night
Mm-hmm.
for
And you were
Ben.
talking about relationships or something. But here's my
Oh, how
question.
they can act.
Or here's my statement. When you have to question your feelings in a relationship, is that bad influence?
When you have to question how they make you feel, you mean?
Right. Yes.
Like, am I crazy? Is it just me? Like
Yeah.
that type of thing?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I would say
Maybe.
that. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's influence, but maybe they weren't what you thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we try to make people become us or what we
Yes.
want to see in somebody,
Mhm.
and you cannot
Mhm.
expect you from everybody.
Yes. We try to make them fit a mold. Like, so if I have gotten to a certain place in life because I want to keep this friend,
Mm-hmm.
I try to now force them along to where I'm at, when that may not be where they even want to be, for that matter.
Yep.
And that could be an issue as well.
That's good. That's good. All right. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I wanted to comment on the advice one that Charlotte said. With friends, I ask them, am I listening or am I responding? Like, do you want me to just listen to you, or do you want me to give you advice? I ask because Not everybody, they'll come crying, but that doesn't mean they actually want to hear you
Yeah.
give them advice. So it's important to kind of know.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 I heard that once before as well too. Am I making a comment or am I just listening? Or
Yeah.
so Tammy says that's great. Can't expect you from everybody. Gotta allow people to be themselves.
That's right.
That's good. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so you feel tired, annoyed, or empty after hanging out with your friends.
Ooh.
Tired, annoyed,
Mm.
or empty. Now
It's
let's
time
break that down because that's weighty. I think that's weighty. Tired,
Mm-hmm.
you feel tired,
because
you
they've exhausted
feel
you.
annoyed or
Hmm.
empty after.
So
All
you're
right.
pouring. You're pouring.
Mm-hmm.
They're not pouring back. So you're empty. So you have nothing else to give. You're tired
Willie
because
said, I felt like that today. I'm not
it's okay.
even going to acknowledge. We're not, Charlotte, get that off the screen. We're not going to even acknowledge it. We're not going to even talk about it today, okay?
And then sometimes that tired comes in when every time you talk to them, there's something wrong. Every time you talk to them, the
Yes.
situation hasn't gotten better. Every time you
Mm-mm.
talk to them, I'm still sick.
Or
I'm
they're not even
still
listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
exactly. Hold
If
on
you're
one
going to
second.
talk
Wait
to
a
me about it,
minute.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
again, I think, Crystal, it goes back to, like you said the other week when we were talking about knowing the relationships, identifying the relationships. Whenever, and I can honestly say, whenever I call you or Shaniqua to talk about something, whether I like it or not, I'm going to listen to what it is that you all are saying to me and take it in and ponder it and actually apply it and say, like, okay, maybe this is what it is, or maybe that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Or Shaniqua will say, she's good for saying, now you may not like what I'm gonna say to you here. And I'm like, go ahead and say it. I'd have never called you.
That's
Like,
exactly how you say it.
yeah,
Yeah.
see, I know it.
Go ahead.
Well, Nancy, you may not like what I'm gonna say here now. I'm like, just say it, Shaniqua. You know what I'm saying? But so sometimes we don't like it. So I
Yeah.
don't want to feel like I'm pouring or I'm giving to you and you're not responding or you're not listening or it's not reaching anywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Willie Taylor said, but seriously, certain friends can be draining. Yes, can be
Mm-hmm.
draining, and that puts an enormous burden on the
Yes.
friendship when it's always that way. Which goes back to what you were saying, Crystal.
Yep.
When you're always pouring and you're never getting anything in return.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
when we're
gonna.
going through something, we need to be poured into too.
You
Go
need
ahead, I
that.
cut somebody off.
You need that.
I was gonna say now. I am not plugging this, but I just want to comment this.
Okay.
That's why knowing a person's temperament can be helpful. Because if you know, and I'll use it from this perspective, if this person has this capacity and this person has this capacity,
It's not gonna work.
sometimes it's not that they, it's just a matter of two people having two different abilities. So you could pour just this much where this person can pour that much and it can feel imbalanced. But if you know ahead of time, then you can have a proper expectation of them because you'll know, hey, I'm this, but they're this.
Yeah.
So knowing that helps you when you're going into interactions with them. Your expectation is not for them to fill this cup because you know they don't have the capacity to do that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good, Shaniqua. That's huge,
Yeah.
actually. Shirley says, empty because I have always poured. Oh, but when the word no comes from my mouth, attitudes are everywhere. So now I'm soloing it.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I think that just kind of goes back to,
Yeah.
again, Shirley, you defining the relationship.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. I'll tell you, a friend of mine, a very, very good friend of mine, and I'll throw his name out there and just run this bus right on over him. Apostle R.J. Williams said, whenever you're entering a relationship, make sure that you define the relationship, not just for yourself, but even ask that person, because you'll be doing exactly what you're saying, pouring, 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 pouring.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that you thought they were is never who they thought that they were to you in the first place, or who they even intended to be to you. So while you've been pouring, it's just been running, it hasn't been going anywhere because that person never even looked at you as that in the
That's
first
right.
place.
yeah.
That's right.
So I think that it goes back to even like Crystal the other week when we were talking about knowing who our friends are. Are they associates? Are they
Yeah.
friends? Are they mentors? You got to know what category.
Mm-hmm.
Some That's
And
another Apostle Venus McCoy said that to me decades ago. Put people in categories. You got to know the category where they belong.
You
and
hate to
set
say,
healthy. Go ahead.
go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and set healthy expectations too.
Mm-hmm.
Like for them and for you. Share, like I tell people right from the beginning, if I'm making a new friend, I know at 38 still making friends. But if I'm making a new friend, I tell them from the beginning, I have a tendency to be a little bit controlling about certain things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you that from the beginning, because if that's not you, if you don't like that, just know now so you can beat feet,
Yeah.
you know? And it's not because I'm not willing to make adjustments, but I know it's a struggle for me. So
Yeah.
I'd rather you know right from the beginning, hey guys, as it relates to the things going on in my world, I need to have control of that.
Yeah.
So I just tell them honestly,
That's
we have to
me.
set, yeah, just this is
That's
what you're
me.
gonna get from me,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
That's
Yeah.
me. Like I need to have control over the space.
Yes,
Over the space.
Right. 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 Right.
Because you
me
know what?
too.
Because we do so much. Shaniqua, like I don't
Yes,
even know. We don't even want to delve into that. I guess we'll just leave that there.
that's a whole nother. That's
That's
a
a
whole
whole
nother
right.
night.
As I'm talking, I'm
That's
thinking that's a
a whole
whole lot
nother night.
to peel
Yeah.
apart. Yeah, we just
Yeah.
go. It's just
Sometimes you have to test people. You hate to say that, but sometimes you have to put
Mm-hmm.
something out to determine what are you going to get back. Then that helps you say, okay, you should be in this category. You should be in this category.
yeah,
Because that's the only way you're going to determine what space they hold in your life. And you don't want to
True.
give anybody too much weight
yeah.
that cannot handle it.
You
That's true.
can't.
That's true. Charlotte made a good point just now. She says sometimes you're the poorer and you have to accept it. And you have another friend that you can receive your pour from. That's true. Which still goes back to identifying the relationship. Now, here's somebody else I'm going to throw out there. Pastor Dolly Sherman even told me years ago that whenever someone comes along, you should even ask the Lord, why is this person in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this person here? Why is this person in my life? And sometimes, y'all, because we've had those situations. Surely this is even for you. Now you really want to start really honing in and asking and even paying attention. Why is this person here? Why is this
Yeah.
person in my life? Is it for me or am I the person that's there for them?
Yeah.
Because you don't want bad influences and you don't want to be a bad influence. So you've got to be able to identify the relationship.
Yeah.
Shaniqua, your thoughts? You agree?
I agree.
Yep,
I
that's
agree.
what we got to do. I think that's huge. And yes, Charlotte, you are so right because sometimes we will be the poorer where other people have to be able to accept the poor, where there's somebody that's there to accept the poor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then you've got to be able to identify, ooh, that thing is good right there. Hold on a second. That thing is good.
That's
You got to
good.
be able to identify then who's now pouring into you.
It's like a oh my goodness, it's like a relay race.
Yes,
Okay.
It's like a
but
relay
passing
race.
the
Yes.
baton.
Pass the baton.
That's good.
Yeah.
And if everybody's honest about it, like for
Mm-hmm.
example, there are friends who could be great people who may not be the checker honor. Like they're not the ones that's texting everybody, calling and check in.
Right.
That might not be their strength. That might not be who they are.
That's right.
Be honest and upfront about that. Like, hey, like
That's
if you
not who
call
I am.
me, I'm there for you. But
I'm
I
there.
might get lost in the shuffle of life and I may not be the one to pick up and do the random check-ins, but you call me and I am there.
I am
So
there.
like announce yourself, say who you are. And I think that in adult relationships and friendships, we're not teenagers who don't know
That's right.
ourselves.
That's
we're
right.
we're adults.
That's
So we
good.
should know the good, bad, and ugly things
Yeah.
about ourselves that we can just be honest about and open
I
about.
like that. That's good because there are some people that you will call every day, but there are some people, and I have those people in my life as well.
Mm-hmm.
I may not talk to for weeks or months, maybe even years. But when we see each other, it's like we've never missed a beat.
Never missed a beat.
Never missed a beat. And we have lives. We, especially now, like you're saying, we're all adults now. We have lives. For us, we have ministry, we have children, we have spouses, we have jobs, right? So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on. And when you have multiple children, you're really
you being stretched.
You're really juggling balls. You can't put those babies in one basket. So now I've got to cater to this one. I've got to cater to this one. I've got to cater to that one. And so if I don't talk to you today, tomorrow, or the next day, when we talk in 2 weeks, it shouldn't be a problem. So
and that's not to negate intentionality. Like we can still be intentional.
Correct.
So hey, it doesn't sound good to some people, but if I have to put on the calendar, call Nancie every 2 weeks, that's my way of being intentional, so I can make sure that I put the time and effort in to call Nancie. Some of us have to do that. So it doesn't, us saying we're busy and people are busy doesn't mean that being intentional can't still happen. It just may not look like what everybody may want. Right.
That's good. That's good. All right. Number 4, your friend has a carefree attitude that costs you a lot of money.
Oh,
girl, I have maxed out my credit cards and I'm gonna need yours. Oh, my bank account went negative, and I went to dinner last night. I don't have any gas money. Can you give me some?
Or they always want to go somewhere expensive and they want you to go too,
and they can't afford it
every time. And it's like a budget over here,
And that's why I love my friends, because I'm telling you, we can eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches one day. And have filet mignon the next. So ribeyes, porterhouse.
We all pay our part.
And we go all do our part.
I say stay in your friendship league. That's just me. That's what I'm not saying we can't have friends who are who are a little bit above. It's nothing wrong with having friends that are above, because it's something to aspire to.
Correct.
But don't surround yourself with everybody who's above you, because you can't keep up with it. And then you'll start feeling a burden and a pressure to keep up. Now you're overdoing and overtaxing yourself. So stay in your friendship league,
But it's inconsiderate. It's inconsiderate.
Because it's very inconsiderate.
It's inconsiderate because you have to take into account, just like you guys say, we have lives. My money doesn't only stretch between me and you.
Right.
It stretches all the way around in a full circle.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, I like White Castles.
Okay. I like cooking at home. I
like Taco Bell. Yeah, I like cooking at home too.
Yeah, I like all of that.
I like Taco Bell, White Castle. I like a good hot dog. I don't care. I like a good.
I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna put you guys both on the spot in the moment. For example, when you guys go on trips, you don't ever see Shaniqua tag, man, I wish I was there. No, because I already have fun. I am not on the level.
Bring me back and a shot glass.
A keychain is nice, and I'm okay with that. And this is the thing. You'll have some people who call themselves friends who will hate on you guys for being able to do certain things. To me, that's not friendly. That's not a friend.
Right.
Like, be okay with the fact that, hey, there's a certain level and place that we all are at.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, if I want to go on one of the trips, plan accordingly. You get what I'm saying? But sometimes that happens. People will have an issue with someone or a group of people for being able to do things that they can't do.
Yep.
But still call themselves your friends. Like, that's not cool either,
That's not.
And it's funny because I have a daycare parent. I was actually talking about her today. I have a daycare parent who says all the time, whenever I'm out of town, she's like, I'm always waiting for you to post the pictures because I live vicariously through your pictures and or your videos. And I crack up laughing every time. So if I don't post, she's fussing. Or if I miss a couple of minutes, she's like, what happened to the pictures? I'm like,
I love the pictures and the videos because it actually inspires me to say, one day I'm going to get my schedule right. And I'm going to be out there with my little flip flops and bathing suits. That's what I say when I see the pictures, but there are those who probably see it and be like, they got to do this. They got to do that. But will call themselves your friend.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We are at about the halfway point. We want you to go ahead and share the live. Yes, we are still talking about bad influences. As we are talking about bad influences, we're kind of bouncing back and forth with our thoughts, our experiences as it relates to bad influences in relationships. And relationships are not just friendships, but yes, we are featuring or focusing on friendships, but just in life in general, how do you identify bad influences in friendships and or in relationships?
Yeah.
Number 5 says your get-togethers are all about gossip and making fun of other people. I'm not for that.
Ooh, no,
I'm just not for that. That's not my type
Mm-mm.
of, that's just not what I do.
we're not
Mm-mm.
gonna sit around and just do that. No.
No. Now, I'll be honest because listen, hey, my thought process is like I always say, and Nancy, you've probably heard me say this before. We're all spiritual beings, but we're wrapped in flesh, right?
Mhm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
cannot say that I've never
Of course not.
gossiped or laughed. I've had to catch myself and be like, wait, hold up. This is not right. Let me
Right.
get it together, but I I don't want to be like, oh, I never do that because that's
But,
not true.
but
For
I
me, I
understand
know
this is saying like you spend that time. So let's say you're together for an hour, 2 hours. Now we're not sitting around for 2 hours, an hour. Just
no, that's a
Yeah,
problem right there.
that's a
that's a
problem.
problem. That's a
Yeah,
bad
that's a
influence for
problem.
sure. If
Yeah.
our time together consists of gossiping, pulling down,
Mm-hmm.
or talking down on
Yeah.
somebody else, or got making fun of other people,
Mm-hmm.
Then do we really have a
That's
friendship? Because it's not based on anything.
it's not.
no,
There's no
no.
substance there.
There's no substance there.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. And then
Mhm.
I'm wondering how you sitting around talking about somebody. What?
Because
Like,
when
how do
y'all
you
leave
even
each
have the
other,
time?
when y'all
How?
when y'all leave each other, y'all gonna go and talk about each other
Or
to
you want to talk
somebody
about
else.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a
Mm-hmm.
bad influence. And if
Yeah.
you find yourself in that type of predicament, that says, you know what? I need to really check this relationship.
Separate. Mm-hmm.
I need to separate. Yep. I need to
Yep.
just go ahead and draw the line, draw
Because it's not
boundaries.
life giving. It's not life giving, and so ugh, I'm like, ugh,
You
it's
feel
not life
guilty
giving.
when refusing to go somewhere or do something your friend suggests. The only way you would feel guilty is if they're like really harping on you, I think, or if they're making you feel guilty. Because other than that,
That's what that's what a
they
bad
don't give you
influence would do.
consideration and respect.
Yeah.
They'll be like a bad influence can be like manipulative. Like you never
Yeah.
go with us. You never want to go. You never have the money. You never want to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because in that moment, what they want is what they want, which is your
Period.
attendance.
Period.
So they can kind of maybe influence or maybe make a person feel guilty or bad for not
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
see how that could happen.
But
That is.
again, I think that comes with consideration, because
Mm-hmm.
if I'm your friend, I kind of know, I may not know what your finances are, but I just kind of know where things are at. I know
Yeah.
when it's a good time.
Yeah.
I know when
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
bad time. I know when maybe, it's a stretch for you to do something,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
based off conversations, because I'm your friend and you're talking to me. So I think
Mhm.
that really goes back to consideration, respect, and boundaries
That's right.
On both sides, because the
on both
truth
sides.
is I do also feel like the person who may never go should also try to step up sometimes too. It could be two ways here. Like understand and know your friends' finances and situations, so don't push them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I know that Nancy wants to go to Sandals in 2026 and she wants every single person that she's friends with to go, then I have time to get myself together and try. You
To
see,
make a
so it's
payment.
a two
Yeah.
way.
To do a little
It's a
payment plan or something. Yeah.
right. So
I
you
like
can't
that.
always say no if this is your friend. You do want to make an effort, but not to the point where you're overextending yourself every time.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Now,
I agree
Shaniqua,
with
remember
that.
you said that, okay?
What's it? Yeah.
2026.
You'd be like, Shaniqua, 2023, you said
We
That
gave
in
you
that you
2026, we're going.
would
So let's
sandal.
start getting there. All right. Number 7, you often feel unappreciated, miserable, or intimidated when hanging out with your friend.
Mm.
I think
think
it all
that
ties together with everything else as
it
well.
ties together, but I
Mhm.
think that in a lot of relationships, you have moments where you feel like that. You have
Mhm.
Mm.
moments.
I can see that.
And it depends on what the scenario is, but you have moments. And I think that's
Yeah,
the breakdown in a lot of relationships, and where the breakdown comes from is because you don't open your mouth and express,
that's
hey,
true.
this is how I feel, or
That's
this
true.
happened, this is how I feel,
Yeah.
and move on.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. I see. I like that. You often feel unappreciated, miserable, or intimidated when hanging out with your friend. So a lot of that comes from the lack of
A
communication
lack of
or from
communication.
maybe setting boundaries and saying
Yeah.
things.
I
Hmm.
was gonna say,
What should be? Well, go ahead.
I can't be friends with anybody that I feel intimidated by.
Yeah,
No.
I
Like
agree.
the rest of it, I'm with you because Crystal, that's true. In any relation, especially in like close friendships, there will be seasons where maybe the bumping of the heads, but intimidated, no,
I don't want to feel scared now. No,
no, like
no.
that's not a friend to me.
But a lot of times people,
Y'all are hilarious.
you know, people look for acknowledgement. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I don't need it. Hey, girl, here you go. We in secret. There it is. However,
Mm-hmm.
but some people, that's where that unappreciation comes from. Well, I did this and
Mm-hmm.
you didn't even say nothing. Or, I was here. You didn't even say anything. You didn't even, it's okay, baby. We see you're
Mm-hmm.
there. You're there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a matter of communication. Hey,
Yep.
Mhm.
this is what I need from you. If
And
I,
Yep.
do we validate the feelings?
Well,
So
I believe we should validate. Now, the counselor side of me is like we should validate all feelings.
right, that's me too. I was gonna say so
I
we got
can't help but to not
that's how
think.
you feel. We're gonna validate
Yeah.
your feeling. Right,
yeah.
right, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
But but like just like I think it was Shirley who said that she was pouring and nobody was
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
pouring back.
Mm-hmm.
Had someone just said, I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Even if I can't pour back, now I'm not gonna be able to do what you do. But what I want to
Right.
know is I heard you and I
Yeah.
appreciate you. I think
Yep.
that is just communication, and that's in any
Yes.
relationship,
Yeah.
a
Yep.
marriage, a friendship, boyfriend. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Just open your mouth and say what you
Say
need.
something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
My
agree.
best friend, she sends like really sweet cards, and sometimes she sends like gifts at random. I can't keep up, okay? Because I just can't. But I always tell her how much it means to me. I always tell her, listen, hey, even though I might not be the random extravagant gift person,
Yeah.
I love you. Like I make sure she knows. And then every now and again, I try to put my little coins aside to try to do what she does for me. And it's not because she requires it. It's because I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And although I can't do it as often, I'm going to make an effort. I'm going to be intentional and try every now and again to send her a little something, so she'll know, hey, you're not alone in this friendship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
I
in
know.
our relationship, I'm not the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously? Are
Nancy,
you doing it for real?
Nancy,
Seriously?
not a dig,
Where
not
are
a
we going
dig.
around the corner
Listen to
now?
me, not a dig. Nancy is the emotion. So you might not get as much from me as you may need, but I try to say, hey, I appreciate you, girl. Hey, this my best friend, honey. Let me tell you
I
about her. You know what I mean? I
cannot
might
Mm-hmm.
do stuff periodically. It's not. That's just
It's
me.
not you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
I
if
got
you
you.
need
I owe
something
you
from me
one. I
now,
would crack you one good
you
one for
gotta
that.
tell me. You gotta tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't. That's not to say that I don't cry, because I do.
Right. Right.
I'm just not as emotional as the connection that I have with her, and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
opposites attract. So if she's down, hey, I'm gonna try to pull you up. You tell me what's going on. I'm gonna try to. Now I'm
Yeah.
not just like how you say, hey, you might not like it. I'm not even gonna preference that. Let me tell you what's. Listen,
She's
this is what
not.
you gotta
I
do.
have to preface it with Nancy because Nancy be coming out of a bag on folks sometimes.
Excuse
See,
me.
see.
Hello. Does
So
everybody know I'm here?
so sometimes you got to get her ready for
You gotta
it.
get. You gotta. Hey,
Get
I
just
just
let
shake
me
up.
let
I
me
just
just prepare you.
Y'all are hello. Two of
and
my
I've been
really
saying
good
all week.
friends.
It's the delivery. Her delivery is a little sweeter. You know what I mean? She'll come and, hey, I need to talk to you. Now wait a minute, Crystal.
Tammy,
Now
it's not funny.
listen. But me, I'm a little rougher.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But people need different variety of that at different points. Like there might be a time that someone's going to need Crystal to just come in straight shooter. That's just it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas there might be a time where it's like Crystal step back and be like, Nancie, you're gonna have to take this one because
I can't do
it. You know, it's so true. And it's funny that you say that because Melanie, my sister, her best friend says to her, you know, I know already if I'm calling you to tell you something, I'm already knowing I'm not getting any chasers. I'm not getting any. It's just gonna be because that's how Melanie is. Crystal can be rough. Okay, girl, now look. Yeah. And so I already know when I call.
I just didn't know that about you, Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal. I'll tell anybody when I talk to Crystal. Listen, you go dry those tears up. Straight talk is needed at different times. Yes. Those are my apostles. Y'all say hi to my apostles.
Hi, apostles.
Hi, apostles.
Right, that's right.
Look how she just controlled the scenario. See, we just talked about.
Yeah, I was sitting. I'm like, wait.
You like we took too long. We were trying to let you finish your sentence.
Right. But no, so it's like that. So if I call Crystal and it's one of those moments where like I'm crying and something, she's like, okay, now wait. Pull that together because girl, no, we're not doing that.
We're not. Oh no!
Look, if you call me crying,
then
where are my brass knuckles?
Yeah,
because
she ready to fight.
The country girl in me is like, wait, why are we crying though? You know, I completely forget the counselor side.
But you gotta know your friends. You know what I'm saying? You have to know your friends when you're dealing with something and know who to call when.
Exactly,
that's true.
That's going to keep you from those bad influences, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Because a bad influence sometimes will just kind of pat you back and let you go on.
Or ramp you up.
Yeah.
Instead of helping to de-escalate it, they might actually escalate a situation and make it worse. Right.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. Right.
True. Very true. I agree with that.
Just don't call me crying.
Just don't call you crying.
I just need you to stop crying so I can get a little clarity. But what's going on?
Okay, so what about what if I call you mad?
If you call me mad, you already know we raise it up. Now who we falling out with?
You see what I'm saying?
It's so funny when Nancie calls me mad. I'm like, okay, tell me what happened.
Yeah,
because I'm waiting
to escalate me at that point. She's trying to like, because now I done got out the back. She's like, Nancie, come on, let me pull you back.
Let's go. Wait, what's...
No, I'm gonna run off first. Then as I listen to the story, I'm gonna say,
yeah, Crystal be like, now, girl, let's go. And we get there, she be like, because now I done talked all the way there. She be like, wait a minute, why you got me here again?
Like, why are we driving? Why are we going over? We were about to kick down doors. Wait, hold on.
But again, you have to know your friends and stay away from those bad influences. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing about good influences is you're able to get each other back together in line by any means necessary. And guess what? I'm not bothered by it because I know you have my best interest at heart.
There it is. There it is.
I know you have my best interest at heart. I may not always like it because I'll be honest. I've not liked every conversation Shaniqua and I have had. I've not liked every conversation Crystal and I have had. However, it has not caused a rift in our relationships. We're just as close as we always were because I know that you have my best interest at heart.
We had a conversation the other day. She was talking a whole lot of off the wall stuff. I said, girl,
what are you doing?
Girl, look, I'm not doing that. She's like, Crystal.
Oh, yeah.
You have to soften your heart. For what?
Yeah, I had to get Crystal together because Crystal was gone. Crystal was gone. I'm like,
she was out.
But see, now I could have been the bad influence friend and been like, well, yeah, girl, because, you know, I wouldn't do, or she was saying what she was saying. I was saying what I was saying, but never did I say, all right, well, Crystal, if that's what you want to do, just do that. No. I stopped. I said, now, wait a minute.
Those bad influence, sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Go ahead.
Those bad influence friends will be vanished by the time you've done whatever it is they've coached you to do.
True.
So here you are in trouble, and they're nowhere in sight.
Nowhere in sight.
And so they're not even going to ride for you. Right.
Yep.
They'll boost you up and be disappeared.
Be disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Be long gone, and you standing there by yourself holding a bag.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. Your friend is a chronic phone thief.
What's that one mean?
What does that mean?
You know, first I was wondering the same thing, but my thought is that every time I call you, I take up all the time. I never get to talk back. I got you. The entire conversation. I'm a phone thief.
I got you. I got you.
That's my thought. And then at that point, we really don't have a relationship because, again,
if they're calling to do that, I'm not trying to be funny, but you need to charge them. Send them an invoice. Oh. That's a session.
That's a session.
That's now, work. That's not.
I like to talk. I can talk, but I'm also going to listen to you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one side, like not being able to have a reciprocal conversation. Now, maybe here or there, okay, fine, because somebody might be upset. They need to vent, whatever. But if it's always like that, then you're not their friend. You are their counselor.
Yeah.
You're their sounding board.
Yeah.
Drama is always finding you, or drama is always finding them.
We
cannot do it. Can't do it.
Bad influences.
I left my fighting days. Fighting left me years ago. I can't be with someone that's in drama all the time because no.
Here's one I love. This is number 10 that identifies relationships with bad influences. Your friend never warns you when you cross the line.
Communication. That goes back to communication. You've never expressed your boundaries.
Yeah.
You're sitting in the background and accepting when all you got to do is say, excuse me, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how you said that.
I don't like
that.
So
it says, how can you stay away from bad influences? Number one, identify your friends. Yes. And again, I think that it's great that this month-long series has taken place because we've given tools, we've shared points on how we can actually sit back and identify our friends. We've shared those categories. So now you've got a little work to do. You've got a little responsibility on your end now to then begin to identify those friends, identify the relationships that you're in. It goes on to talk about embrace positivity and shun negativity. Now, we know what's positive. We know what's negative. Sometimes it takes a little bit of, stepping back, breathing, right? Getting over ourselves, actually listening. But negativity and we know positivity. So sometimes we have to do that. Set boundaries. We've talked about setting boundaries as well. Boundaries are important. And communicating those boundaries are a must.
A must.
Can I say something real quick on boundaries, Nancie? A lot of times people misunderstand boundaries. They think that boundaries means I set a boundary and you're not supposed to cross it. The boundary is I set a boundary and I say, if you do this, I will do. The boundary is me following through with what I say I'm going to do. It really has nothing to do with what they do because we can't control them. It's about us following through with what we say. So if you keep being late, I'm going to stop inviting you to brunch. So that's the boundary I set. So if you keep being late, I have to follow through with my part. We tend to get boundaries a little bit confused. And so I just wanted to say that.
That's good. That's good. I think that helps us to drive. When we're counseling, we call those boundaries and parameters. Those really give you boundaries and parameters on the relationship and how the relationship will move forward, whether good or bad. Whether you're having good fellowship or heated fellowship, boundaries and parameters will help guide us, right? And keep us focused when we're trying to resolve that. I think that's good. Turn negative people into supporters. So you don't worry about the negative people. They're your supporters because they're always watching what you're doing or talking about what you're doing anyway. So they're giving you free advertisement, right? Sleep on it and stay away. That means don't pop off. Don't respond too fast. Sometimes we really need to be able to step back, take another look at the situation before we put our mouth on it, right?
See, I've been teaching. I've been doing that all my life. I've been trying to teach these people. I mean, sometimes
It says initiate relationships with successful people.
Yes.
Again, Shaniqua, you talked about the pull up because that happens when you're in those type of relationships. And those are the points on identifying bad influences and or staying away from bad influences.
Yes.
I think this has been, again, a most helpful month-long series on friendship.
Yep.
I think it's been one that has needed to happen, right?
Right.
And what better show than on the self-checkout show?
How about it?
How about it?
Real good.
Listen, there is an announcement that we're going to share with you all. The Overcomers Gathering is coming.
Woo.
Overcomers Gathering is coming. And Pastor Willie Taylor is looking for 50 people to partner with Willie Taylor Ministries with a gift of $40 by the 1st of April. Won't you be one? Won't you be one?
I'll be one.
People. All right, there's
Let's
one.
do it.
Do we do it to this
50
Venmo?
people. We're
I'm sorry.
actually down to 41 people, and now you're at 40 because Shaniqua has said that she will be one.
He down to 39.
Charlotte, post that back on the screen, please. Crystal has now said she will be one. So now you're down to 39. Looking for 39 more individuals. Put the back on the screen. Shaniqua, we're now at 39. There we go. 39 people to partner with WTM. I bet you she was going to change the 50 to 39. Sorry, Charlotte. We're looking for 39 people to partner with WTM with a gift of $40 by the 1st of April. By the 1st of April. And right across the bottom of the screen, you may be asking, how can I sow? How can I give? How can I make that donation? Right at the bottom of the screen are those details rolling across the screen. And we're going to do it for another minute or two. Ways to give. Cash App, $ W Taylor Ministries. Cash App, $ W Taylor Ministries. PayPal.me / one of those slashes. WTM Ministries 3. WTM Ministries 3. Venmo at the Self Checkout Show. And if you are an iPhone user, Android, but you got to be saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost.
Hallelujah.
Okay? All right. Then you're going to do 630-294-8354. I want you to have a relationship with the Lord. Be an Apple Pay user. 630-294-8354. Android users, get delivered. And come on over to the iPhone, right?
Yes.
Come on over to the iPhone.
That's
all right, everybody. We have had a blast. Shout out again to my two friends, my best friend, my good girlfriend, and our soror. Hey, Pastor Shaniqua Karanja, and my best friend Crystal. Next week's episode, Stop Pressuring Me. Next week's episode, Stop Pressuring Me. Pastor Willie Taylor. Willie Taylor will be back. We will chat about how the church has a tendency to pressure people to sometimes do things that they necessarily don't want to do. Listen, y'all know.
That's a sermon right there.
It's going to be a whole situation.
Look, it's going to be a situation. I hope you're ready for a two-parter because that sounds like it's going to be a lot.
My brother, because remember now, not long ago, we did How the Church Failed Me. And so that was the whole situation. So now he's doing Stop Pressuring Me. And I'm already praying for him because the heat will be on next week.
Yeah, so let them be mad.
Set your alarms Monday night, 7 p.m. Stop Pressuring Me. We're going to chat all about how the church has a tendency to pressure people to sometimes do things that they necessarily don't want to do. Don't you miss that conversation. That's
going to be good.
Live right here and hot. All right, everybody. Listen, we want you to have an amazing rest of your week. Go out, be productive, produce, promulgate, and we pray the favor of God go before you and with you in every endeavor. You all have an amazing week. Shaniqua, Crystal, I'll chat with you girls later. Bye, y'all.
All right. Good night. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.